So anybody that knows me knows that I'm now a big fan of progressive rock. And to say that nowadays would be a big understatement. But to say that back then, I didn't really know what prog was. And it didn't really have, at least what I thought, an influence on me, I guess. But there were albums that I listened to in my youth. I say youth, I'm under 20 still, so that sort of led me into enjoying progressive rock. The biggest one being Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. This isn't necessarily progressive rock. This is sort of a precursor to progressive rock. You know, it has the elements that you would find in progressive rock music. And back in, I'd say, about 5th or 6th grade, I loved the Beatles. Anything to do with the Beatles, I absolutely loved it. And Sgt. Pepper's is one of my favorite albums by them. And, you know, looking back at it, especially now with it being the 50th anniversary of Sgt. Pepper's, it really is that album that really sunk me into the world of progressive rock. Because whereas I would used to only listen to the Beatles, I've now expanded into other types of music like Genesis, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Yes, more recently Steven Wilson. I just discovered his most recent album, To the Bone, and it's simply a fantastic piece of work, and if you haven't listened to it, I absolutely think you should. But another album that really got me into progressive rock, and this is sort of kind of an outlier to some people, because some people wouldn't really think of this album when they think of progressive rock, is Jeff Wayne's musical version of The War of the Worlds. Now, this is progressive rock, and it's also got the elements of symphonic rock. And with symphonic rock, I adore ELO. Jeff Lynne does fantastic jobs in their early stuff. A lot of their stuff from back in the day was symphonic rock. And this album, Jeff Wayne's musical version of The War of Worlds, say that 3 times fast, is just, it's pleasing to my ear. It's got those progressive elements, yes, but at the same time, it has this wonderful orchestra throughout the album, and it just helps paint that picture of the album even better inside my head. And you know, for that reason, I absolutely love this album, and it's got some of the largest names in prog rock, like Chris Thompson of Manfred Mann, Justin Hayward, Phil Lynott, of course, of Thin Lizzy. It's just, it's an album that you don't, there is no actual musical. The album itself is a musical, but there's no film, there's no Broadway show. It's just an album, and this album, you just shut off your mind, you listen to the lyrics, you listen to the music, and you just have this idea painted in your head. And that's what happens a lot of times when I listen to progressive rock. Like when I listen to the instrumentals from Emerson, Lake and Palmer, or I listen to one of the 70s Genesis songs from the Peter Gabriel era, it's like the mind turns off and the picture begins painting. And there's just something about that part of prog rock that I just adore. And it's the reason that I love this genre so much. And you never know what you're gonna get, because every artist has their own interpretation. So, and with something like the musical version of the War of the Worlds, it's definitely an interesting interpretation. And it's music that you just get lost in. And that's the stuff that I really like. I wish more music today did that. But, can't always get what you want, I suppose. But anyway, that's going to do it for this video. It's a short video. If you like this video, consider hitting that like button. If you aren't subscribed, please subscribe. And I will catch you in the next one. Thanks.